You got the quirky schedule, playing them twice in 16 days or 15 days, whatever it is. Is your young team, and I'm still calling it young, ready to face those guys twice in 2 weeks essentially?
Yeah, we just need to face them once tomorrow. We don't even have to think because then we got Baylor on Tuesday. So our focus is just on one game, is having a good practice here today. Obviously, they're a great team. We've talked about that a ton. Kansas, the program, Coach Self, great respect. They're the standard. We practiced well yesterday. We'll have another practice today, and then we got to go play. But we don't have to play them twice. We just got to play them once tomorrow here.
Is Lawson kind of the thing, or the guy that everything turns around offensively for them, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, he's been terrific. I mean, he just, he scores in so many different ways. Obviously hasn't made a lot of threes, but, they run their post action for him where he can really seal. He's just got a quick release. Score, he can go right, he can go left. There's no really force him right, force him left. Terrific player. He's been really, really good for him. And obviously they play two ways. They'll play him at the 5, and then they'll play him at the 4, especially now with Azubuike back.
With Azubuike, what do you kind of do on him with the 3 forwards you guys got?
You just got to be physical. Last year we did a terrible job on him here. Watching the game this morning, we got to do a better job with our presence on him, making him uncomfortable. He can't get deep post catches. Obviously, he's got great size, and they really make a conscious effort to get it inside and post feed him. But our physicality, our attention to detail has to be a lot better on him. He's back, and I know Coach Self thinks a lot of him. He's got both those guys. I mean, I think those are major factors in the game.
What do you read into the fact that they're three-point shooting? Well, was in Self even came out and said that it's.
I mean, you could look. I mean, you look at the box score. Oklahoma went 5 for 22. Go look at our box score. What did we shoot the other night? 10 for 30. I wouldn't have turned down a lot of the shots we shot the other night, and so, I'm not looking at Kansas's shots from a standpoint of, would he want that shot or not want that shot? It's kind of like I read today. A good shot's a good shot and a bad shot's a bad shot. I think all coaches agree with that, and you just got to make sure players know that. But we know the guys that obviously guys like Vic, has had a tremendous year from the three-point line. Dotson, and then some other guys. Percentages right now aren't great, but it's kind of like Mariel Shayok. Went 4 for whatever the other night, but I feel really good with him shooting open threes. But we got to be conscious, but I think we've got to make sure we do a great job guarding the interior first.
That's what I was going to ask about. Are you going to play, without tipping your hand a whole lot, more? Is this a game you could play more 2 bigs at the same time? Use a bigger lineup, you think?
I mean, you could. I mean, it's a possibility. But I just, yeah, you could. I mean, you could if you wanted to.
Well, and given Cam's, Cam was very aggressive, very enthusiastic the other night.
You got to look at it both ways. You got to look from an offensive standpoint and a defensive standpoint. With Azubuike at the 5, they're doing some different things for him. With Lawson at the 5, they're going to go at you a different way with him at the 5, and so there's a lot of different factors involved. But you could play big. I mean, that's I've got that down as an alternative if we need it.
Coach, you always talk about road games +1, protecting the home court. You got your +1, taking on the preseason favorite on Saturday. How big would it be? Almost like a +2 right in that first week.
Well, it'd be a great win because it's the next game. But everything goes so quick because then you got another quick turnaround for Tuesday night at Baylor, and you're back on the road. But obviously, anytime you get a chance to beat a top 5 team at home, you got to take advantage of that. And so we got a great opportunity. Probably our best crowd of the year, I would think. Even though the students aren't here, it'll be a lot of energy. But again, it's not a hype game. I'll tell the guys again today. It's a what do you value game. It's a hit singles game. It's a do the right thing game. It's a substance game. And if we do those things well, we'll have a great opportunity.
How well do you feel like this team, given that you've essentially had one real game with a full roster? No offense to Eastern Illinois.
Yeah. None taken. Getting a better feel for him. The other night I knew, obviously Lindell was going to be the first guard off the bench, and he played 30-plus minutes, which is probably going to be the norm. He's going to always be in the 30-minute range for us. And then, Lard, I wanted to give him the first opportunity, the first crack the other night, and I thought he made a huge difference for us the other night defensively. Offensively he ran, He got some good slips and pick and roll. But I thought defensively he just gave the presence that I think we need in this league at the rim. But he was dialed in. But it took him a while. It's taken him a while. Yeah, he wasn't playing like he did that night in practice and in games. Or if he was, he would have been playing a lot more. That was the first step. Now he's got to take the next step, and that's putting more consecutive good practices together and continue to put time in the gym. But starting to have a good feel for him, a better feel. The thing I was happy about the other night, obviously we got a lot of guys, 12 guys. There's some guys that probably want to play a little bit more. You got some freshmen that played early that aren't playing right now. It's just keeping these guys understanding that this is about team and team. What's the best for this team right now? And I thought the other night we made a big step, and now it's a nationally TV Saturday afternoon game. We can't get caught up in all that.
How well do they know themselves, I guess, as a group?
I think they're getting better. I think they're getting better with that, of really understanding roles. I think the way we shared the ball the other day, whether we make or miss the shot, I do care because I want to win. But from a standpoint, are we doing the right things? Because watching the Kansas game from last year, we weren't doing the right things offensively. We weren't making those plays, and we still had opportunities to win both games last year. Obviously they beat us twice, but that's my biggest thing. If they're doing the right thing, it means they're starting to have a good comfort level. And we had Lindell back, and I thought one thing he did, man, he really, he had 2 assists the other night, but if we make shots, he probably has 5 or 6 because he really shared it.
With just the sheer number of guys that you have, do you think that the guys who are in that 30-minute range could kind of fluctuate depending on who it is that you're playing against?
Yeah, certain nights, like Talon, I expect him to bounce back and have a really good game on Saturday. He kind of under the weather, and but Lindell was great, and Tyrese was good, and Nick. It could change, but I think at the end of the day, you can't just throw 10, 11 guys in there just because you think you have them. You got to play the guys that you think can win, and if you're running guys in and out, I think that sometimes defeats the purpose. For everybody's got different philosophies. That's just for me.
You talked the other night. You said that you just have to have Tyrese in the game. You have to. Is that obviously because he plays, but is he emotionally, the camaraderie like? Is he this year's George?
He's not George.
No. But I mean, no, we know. I know that. But I mean, okay, Naz or whatever.
Well, he.
I don't mean playing wise.
Yeah. Well, personality either too. I mean, George is
right, okay.
eccentric, and I coached George when he was a senior, and so I'm sure he was a lot more, outgoing than he was as a freshman. I think, maybe not.
Pretty steady.
So, but
Tyrese.
But Tyrese he's been really good for us. Assist to turnover ratio has been really good. He's growing on the defensive end. He's making shots. And so, sometimes I do, you think he's been out, but then he ends up playing 37, 38, 39 minutes. And so he's got a big challenge for him, tomorrow, because you got a couple guys that he's going to have to be really dialed in on.
What's your plan for the starting lineup with Lindell Wigginton?
Yeah, that'll all work itself out. I think we're all making too big of a deal about that. Lindell had a tremendous game. He's obviously a huge impact for our program and our team. He played 30-plus minutes, played really, really well. Thought offensively gave us some really big sparks, hit a big shot, and so that'll work itself out. The bottom line is, in this league, you need finishers. You need guys who can finish games.
Talon just have a cold, or what's his?
Yeah, it's just kind of a stomach flu bug kind of thing. He was in and out of practice, missed practice one day, kind of was in and out the next day, and so, I wasn't sure how he was going to be, and but I think he was by the office yesterday in the morning and worked out and was in really good spirits. Texted him last night because he's a James Harden fan after Harden hit that shot, and so I think he'll respond.
I could see him being a Harden fan.
Yeah. Nick, the other night, you've been after Nick to be more aggressive offensively, and he came down and made the first 2 baskets of the second half. I mean, the 3-pointers. What's that do for your confidence in him and his confidence? And is that what you've been telling him?
Yeah, well, I've got confidence in him.
Yeah.
He should know that. I thought the 2 threes to start the half
Yeah.
were huge. I mean, those were big. They were rhythm threes. They were good threes. I had him on a shot selection edit yesterday, and I told him I hate almost putting you on shot selection because, I want you being aggressive. I don't ever want you overthinking. But it was, we had a couple possessions late in the first half that, Solomon's hook shot, his jump shot, there was like 2 or 3 possessions. We turned it over twice. We had 4 possessions, gave up 4 threes. Day and a half, that wasn't a good way to finish, and so I had to show that. But, Nick needs to be aggressive. Biggest thing, make or miss, we got to push the pace, and he's got to push. And that was the one thing I thought Lindell did a great job of pushing the pace. And, you know, with him and Lindell and Tyrese, all those guys can get it and go.
A lot's made of what Tyrese does offensively, but is his impact on the defensive end almost as important?
Well, his length, you know, he's got to continue to grow and guarding the dribble and getting through ball screens. But, you know, understanding the scouting report, he's been good. You know, he's got great length. You saw the other night he contested shots. He had 2 blocks on jump shot contests, and that's just really because of his length. But he's been really good for us, you know, and we just started Big 12 play, so now you're going to be scouted more and can't let all the outside noise come in. Just got to keep focused on getting all these young guys better.
With all the great teams in the Big 12, how impressed are you with Kansas's run and consistency, and they're always at the top of the conference, seems like, at the end of the year, no matter how many bumps they go through?
Yeah, it's as good of a achievement as there is in professional or collegiate sports. You know, whether you talk about, you know, the Bills going to 4 straight Super Bowls, win or lose, that's hard to do. You know, the Braves, somebody interviewed me and asked me about this a long time ago, like the Braves won the NL East 14 years in a row. I mean, that's unheard of. And so I think it's one of the best achievements in sports. And obviously, you know, they ask you why. Well, they got a Hall of Fame coach. They got an atmosphere as good as there is in the country, and they've got obviously really good players.